KIRO7 News presents a coronavirus emergency special.
And hello, I'm Michelle Millman. While restrictions and stay-at-home orders slowly get lifted around the nation, social distancing and contact tracing remain as important as ever. We have team coronavirus coverage for you. Today we go in depth on a timeline for a vaccine. Take a look at how this pandemic is affecting the performing arts and some corona kindness stories from around the Puget Sound region. But first, let's start at the top. Governor Jay Inslee has said it many times. This contact tracing will be key in easing social distancing guidelines here in Washington. In response, local developers are trying to ramp up the contact tracing process, this time in the form of an app that would alert people to any possible exposure. As KIRO7's Gary Horker shows us now, this local app could save lives nationwide.
You know, if we're ever going to go back safely to regular life without locking us all down again, we have got to control and contain small outbreaks of the virus. That's where this contact tracing app comes in. It's designed to contain and control outbreaks. It took a team of UW professors and Microsoft techs to create this app called COVID Safe, which could roll out within the next month.
Our tool will alert you immediately if you might have been exposed to COVID-19.
It could save lives by alerting people they've been exposed to someone who tested positive, so all of those people can quickly be tested.
You find the infected person, but then you quickly trace those people and make sure they don't spread it. Then you can really suppress the growth.
Sham Kakade helped to develop the app, which uses Bluetooth technology on your phone to keep a private but very detailed memory of everywhere you've been. It also tracks how long you've been close to someone else using the app.
I would be very happy to walk into, say, Trader Joe's and have everyone be using it.
Now, as long as people have the COVID Safe app on their phones, it'll help public health officials anonymously alert everyone who's been close to an infected person without ever identifying who the infected person is. It's designed to help out the 1,500 state workers training now to manually do contact tracing.
Like, for example, if I was sitting on the bus and then 2 days later I tested positive, the tracers don't really have a way to alert people, and I don't know who those people were.
Sham says having the app could mean saving yourself from passing the virus on.
Like if I'm sitting there and I find out I'm positive, I would like to alert the people around me.
The app also helps you keep track of your own symptoms by type and date. The only way this idea works is if we can have quick and convenient testing. Now, this same technology is being used right now in parts of Europe and South Korea to alert people to get tested and to isolate themselves before they stop the spread. I'm Gary Horker, KIRO7 News.
One of the leading forces behind developing a vaccine is Microsoft co-founder Bill Gates. His foundation is funding 7 different research projects to develop an effective vaccine to finally end the crisis. But he says efforts like this and dozens more around the world will take many months.
Dr. Fauci and I have been fairly consistent in saying 18 months to not create expectations that are too high, because this influences, short of a miracle set of therapeutics, this influences when we get to go back to true normal.
Gates is emphasizing the importance of large-scale testing to prevent a deadly rebound. He says testing must go hand in hand with comprehensive contact tracing so that potentially exposed people can be quarantined and then monitored. Health officials are already looking to the fall flu season. The CDC is urging Americans to get the flu vaccine so that the country isn't fighting flu and another possible wave of coronavirus at the same time. KIRO7's Lindsay Sheldon found out why some people in our area say despite these pleas, they won't get vaccinated.
Health officials are warning about how difficult it could be for hospitals with patients coming in with 2 viruses that have very similar symptoms. But some vaccine skeptics say that there are other options they will turn to protect themselves and others from getting sick.
One of the greatest tools we have as we go through the fall, winter season that we're into is to get the American public to embrace the influenza vaccine.
The director of the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, Robert Redfield, asked millions of Americans tuning in to the coronavirus task force briefing to get the flu shot.
Next fall and winter, we are going to have 2 viruses circulating, and we're going to have to distinguish between which is flu and which is the coronavirus.
I don't get the flu vaccine because I do not believe it's the right tool to prevent the flu for me.
Bernadette Pager is with Informed Choice Washington, and she says she'll turn to natural treatments to support her immune system.
Well, why not also get the vaccine? Yes, some people who get the vaccine still get the flu, but why not have that additional layer of defense to help your body fight the flu?
They've never done a side-by-side comparison to see if optimal vitamin D, A, C, zinc levels is better than taking the risk of a vaccine.
The vaccine is different every year, depending on which flu viruses are making people sick. Of the 32 people who died from the flu this past season in King County, about 47% of them were out of date with their flu vaccine, with the status of another 16% unknown. But Pager believes there aren't enough studies about the safety of each year's flu vaccine or how it might affect a person's risk of getting coronavirus. She points to the new habits that people are developing in this pandemic as another way to protect themselves.
If I wash my hands and stay home if I don't feel well, there's a lot I can do without risking my own personal medical freedom or risking my own health.
The CDC, however, is clear about its guidance. And Redfield is optimistic that in the face of this pandemic, people will choose to get the flu shot.
I think the American public is going to heed the request to relook at their vaccine hesitancy to vaccine with confidence for flu.
Dr. Anthony Fauci also said that he expects coronavirus cases in the fall. When it comes to a coronavirus vaccine, experts say that is still likely a year to 18 months away. Lindsay Sheldon, KIRO7 News.
A dangerous and fake coronavirus cure leads to a spike in deaths in Iran, plus concerns over how the virus spreads on a windy day. KIRO7's Matthew Smith is separating fact from fiction.
We're to start this time with a very serious health warning. Hundreds of people dying because of falsified information that's spreading online. So the statement reads, methanol, which is basically a simple alcohol, can prevent or cure COVID-19. This is fiction. And unfortunately, a lot of false reports are spreading online. And in Iran, it has cost people lives. We're talking about deaths. We're also talking about alcohol poisoning that led to some people becoming blind. So a reminder, testing of vaccines is underway, but there is no known cure or preventative at this time. Now, to a number of viral posts claiming a Japanese Nobel Prize winner claims the virus that causes COVID-19 was man-made. This is fiction as well. In fact, just this week, the scientists got frustrated and explained that this isn't true and that the Facebooks and the tweets that are going viral are not in any way, shape, or form tied to him. So, he writes, I am greatly saddened that my name and that of Kyoto University have been used to spread false accusations and misinformation. When we talk about the coronavirus, we hear a lot about masks, why we need to wear them. So a viewer had some questions about COVID-19 and windy days. The statement reads, on a windy day, COVID-19 droplets can spread further. That's fact, according to a Harvard doctor. But there are a lot of comments and questions about this, so I want to drill down, give some context to this information and some nuance. So let's read what the Harvard professor actually wrote. Quote, on a windy day, droplets from someone infected with COVID-19 would disperse widely, and even if a nearby person came into contact with the droplets, it would be such a small amount that they'd be unlikely to be infected. If you're 10 to 12 feet away from others, you're probably pretty safe even on a windy day. So one thing to note there, we're talking about a greater distance than 6 feet when he gives you that example. A lot of this really isn't about science, not hard numbers at least. This is about probability. We've talked about this before. Social distancing isn't necessarily a hard scientific number. These are best practices to follow. So, thank you, stay safe, wear a mask, and if you come across something you're not so sure about, feel free to send it my way. I'm constantly checking my emails, Facebook, and Twitter, and appreciate the interaction. Matthew Smith, KIRO7 News.
A family dog in North Carolina tested positive for COVID-19. It appears the animal contracted the virus from his owners. KIRO7's Tracy Leong explains what people can do to keep their pets safe.
Researchers believe Winston the pug is the first known dog to contract the coronavirus.
His symptoms were really very mild. Pugs are a little unusual that they cough and sneeze in a very strange way. So it almost seemed like he was very gaggy. And there was one day he didn't really want to eat his breakfast. And if you know pugs, they really love to eat. So that seemed very unusual.
In March, all members of Heather McLean's family except her daughter tested positive for COVID-19. They're participating in a new study out of Duke University to help researchers understand the virus. The family's 2 dogs and cats were tested as well. To their surprise, it was detected in Winston. He recovered quickly and was only sick for a few days. However, he's not the first animal in the U.S. to become infected. 8 big cats at the Bronx Zoo in New York City, 5 tigers and 3 lions also tested positive after showing symptoms, as well as 2 house cats in New York City who had symptoms like sneezing, coughing, and a runny nose. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention says it appears people can spread it to animals.
If we're isolating because we are positive, then as a precaution, our pets should also be isolating with us and avoiding contact with people that have not been infected.
Dr. Catherine Chan, the medical director of VCA Magnolia Animal Hospital, says this is a good reminder to treat pets as you would other members in the household, limit their interaction with people outside, practice social distancing, keep them clean, and sanitize their leashes and collars.
I think it's never wrong to be more clean and overcautious when it comes to hygiene because it protects us and potentially protects them as well.
Since Winston is the first known dog to contract the virus, more research needs to be done to understand how it affects your pet. And the CDC says it is very rare for animals to spread the virus to people. Reporting in Seattle, Trace Leong for KIRO7 News.
Coming up, travel plans canceled because of the pandemic. Now some say they're having trouble getting their money back.
When it comes to a pandemic like this, you kind of see the true colors of the company.
Jesse Jones looks into why some refunds are being denied. But first, the stay-at-home order's taken a toll on the performing arts. The virtual experience one local theater is offering to try and keep the show going.
COVID-19 closures are having a huge impact on the performing arts. The Village Theater, with locations in Issaquah and Everett, had to lay off 170 employees. It was forced to cancel the rest of the season, costing millions. KIRO7's Allison Grandy looks at the cost to the arts and how they're struggling to adapt.
The timing of the closure hit the Village Theater hard. They had 2 shows running and 1 in the works, and now they're waiting to find out when the show can go on. The curtain came down on Village Theater's production of She Loves Me in Everett. In Issaquah, Hansel and Gretel, Heidi and Gunter was just getting started.
We were just opening it, and then we couldn't run the performances.
Rob Hunt is the executive producer. He helped start Village Theater 40 years ago. So far, the COVID-19 outbreak forced the theater to lay off 170 employees and has cost them $2 million.
It wasn't something we imagined or planned for.
Snow closures, power outages, yes. Coronavirus closure, no.
But for regular theater, people going to the theater, sitting next to other people and all of that, it's a challenge obviously right now, and we're trying to work our way through it.
They've already found a workaround for their youth programs. Each year, 5,500 children participate in classes through Kids Stage.
There are so many kids that rely on their connection, not only to peers, but also an ability to be expressive in the performing arts.
They've shifted the classes online, and while they include singing, dancing, and acting, it's bigger than that.
We're also looking at ways to get them to practice their skills in collaboration and leadership and creativity and perseverance.
Megan Adams knows.
I have been a part of Village Theater for 40 years. Village Theater is a deep part of what I care about in our community. And I think one of the reasons is it's a way to bring our community together.
Village Theater also has a big focus on developing new musicals bound for Broadway. And now they have another challenge.
We want to figure out a way to keep this the performing arts moving ahead.
He says they are determined to reopen. They have people working on contingency plans to figure out what that would look like in this new world we live in. Allison Grandy, KIRO7 News.
The vacation rental website VRBO has been under fire for not giving full refunds to consumers who canceled trips because of COVID-19 concerns. So KIRO7's Jesse Jones had a lawyer look at the company's fine print to see why it's happening.
Hopefully we'll be able to wear this sometime.
Chris Lee and 15 of his buddies were supposed to wear those t-shirts for a bachelor's trip to the Phoenix area. They paid $4,000 to rent this home on VRBO. But when the COVID-19 outbreak hit, the group was forced to cancel the trip. And Chris says they got little or no help from the company in getting a full refund.
Which is very disappointing because, I mean, what are we supposed to do at this point? It's not that we didn't want to go. It's beyond our control.
Homeowners sign up with VRBO to rent their home. So the company told Chris to deal with the property management company, who said,
you didn't cancel within 30 to 45 days. You can't get a refund. The only thing we can refund you is the $200 for the cleaning fee out of the $4,000.
I've received similar complaints from customers in 14 states. Bonnie Oliver wanted to go to the Women's World Series in Oklahoma City. The goal? Cheering on the Huskies softball team.
And I wanted to watch them play, hopefully watch them play, but we would have gone regardless. We just liked the event.
She paid $400 to rent a home through VRBO, but was left searching for a refund.
So I'm still kind of in a stuck spot.
So we asked University of Washington law professor Jane Wynn to look at VRBO's contracts.
VRBO is taking a stand for its property owners, which is causing a lot of distress among consumers.
Wynn believes since VRBO charges homeowners $499 a year to use the service, it made a decision to back its property owners. While Airbnb, VRBO's competitor, has for the most part offered refunds to its customers.
Whoa, wait a minute. What about VRBO's Book with Confidence guarantee?
VRBO now explains that the Book with Confidence guarantee is designed to address fraud and misrepresentation in the description of properties. It doesn't cover emergencies like coronavirus.
VRBO is owned by Seattle-based Expedia. The company told us it will refund all of its service fees, but it can only ask owners to provide 50% minimum refunds and credits for future dates. After speaking with Goodnight Stay, the property management company in the bachelor trip case, well, they decided to offer a credit until the end of the year. Evolve, the management company in Bonnie's situation, will provide a credit. In both cases, VRBO will refund service fees. And Chris says for he and his group, that's just not enough.
I guess in a sense we learned our lesson, but I've used VRBO in the past and they were okay. But when it comes to a pandemic like this, you kind of see the true colors of a company.
Jesse Jones, KIRO7 News.
Airbnb is taking steps to better protect its rentals. It started new cleaning standards due to the outbreak. Hosts must now allow a minimum of 24 hours between rentals. It also launched new guidance on how to clean every room and is asking hosts to use specific cleaning products. Coming up, a family farm in the South Sound is hatching a plan by the millions to help those in need during this pandemic.
It really isn't a question about money. It really is a question of doing the right thing.
Getting back to normal. It sounds nice, but for many of us, getting back to normal will look a lot different. KIRO7 and Home Street Bank want to help. We want to pay one person's mortgage or rent for 1 year. You could enter for the chance to win 2 times every weekday. Watch KIRO7 News between 6:40 and 6:50 a.m. and again between 5:40 and 5:50 p.m. From KIRO7 and Home Street Bank. For official rules, visit KIRO7.com/mortgage.
During this global pandemic, we've seen some incredible acts of kindness happening around our region. From grocery stores helping the most vulnerable get food, to communities adopting local high school seniors and giving them a memory to cherish. And a Pierce County farm is donating millions of eggs to feed people in need during this coronavirus pandemic. KIRO7's Shelby Miller went to the Wilcox family farm in Roy to check out the plan they're hatching.
There are more than 1 million chickens here at Wilcox Family Farms, and each of these ladies are laying an egg a day. Right now, restaurants aren't buying eggs, so the company came up with a creative way to feed people in need. Roaming pastures in Roy. There's no stopping these Rhode Island Reds from laying thousands and thousands of farm fresh eggs every single day.
They don't take breaks. They lay holidays and weekends and the whole thing.
At Wilcox Farms, farming literally runs in their blood. They've been raising chickens for 100 years.
They're really happy. They're really curious. They'll come right up to you.
Brent Wilcox is a 4th-generation farmer and CEO.
Keeps us all busy here.
Eggs get washed, sorted, and sent to grocery stores, schools, and restaurants all over the Pacific Northwest. COVID-19's brought challenges. They're struggling to keep stores stocked, but at the same time, their restaurant sales suddenly stopped. They had tons of liquid eggs with nowhere to go.
When we talked about possibly having to dump these eggs somewhere, that just breaks your heart, because you see what these chickens are doing to produce these eggs and how much cost and money, love and care goes into it. And to think that you're just going to have to dump this product, it makes you almost physically sick.
Wilcox decided to use the eggs to do some good.
The community's been supporting us all these years, buying our eggs, it feels good to be able to give back to them.
They're donating 600,000 pounds of liquid eggs. That adds up to more than 7 million eggs. Each one gets washed, cracked, pasteurized, poured, and packaged. They're taking truckloads to food banks and shelters like Northwest Harvest and the Tacoma Rescue Mission. In the midst of the pandemic, Wilcox feels good knowing these chickens are nourishing those in need.
It really isn't a question about money. It really is a question of doing the right thing.
Shelby Miller, KIRO7 News.
Wilcox Family Farm says its donations will continue throughout the entire coronavirus pandemic. Thank you for watching KIRO7 News Coronavirus Special. For more exclusive KIRO7 content, download the KIRO7 app on your smart TV like the Roku or Amazon Fire. And if you have any coronavirus-related questions, the Washington Call Center is available. The number 1-800-525-0127. Thank you for trusting KIRO7 News during these uncertain times. As we all try to move forward with our lives, remember to continue to social distance and be diligent about washing your hands. I'm Michelle Millman. Stay healthy, Washington.
Live, local, in-depth, 24/7. Log on to KIRO7.com and download the KIRO7 News and Weather apps.